What is up, guys? It is the Blue Bloods. Y'all can already tell by the hoodie what we're talking about today. And there was nobody else I could have on here to talk some Grambling State football outside of my girl, LaShonda Love, Miss Love, working, doing her thing. Y'all know her as the Twitter the Twitter call out. She's calling out all SWAC schools that aren't on their social media game. I love it. The NIL expert. Love her work with the icon. Y'all know her as Yard Talk on Twitter. But Miss LaShonda, tell them where they can find you. Say what you need to say and let them know where they can find you.
Okay, if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Yard Talk HTX, and then the icon 1901 as well.
I love it. And listen, if your SWAC school isn't doing what they're supposed to do, she's on you. I promise. I promise. It don't
Thanks.
matter if you're North Carolina A&T. Doesn't matter if you're Tennessee State. She's
Missing.
getting on you, and I love it. But we got to start this before we get into the spring game this weekend, which you were at in person, and I know a lot of people had a lot of fun there. We have to talk about last season just quickly. What were your takeaways on the season? Were you satisfied? What were just your biggest takeaways on the 2021 season for Grambling as a whole?
Now Grambling ain't satisfied unless we get the championship. So we fell short of that, but I think that in all your failures, there's always room for growth. So I think that we get in back where we need to be. We haven't won. We only won the Celebration Bowl, but we haven't won the SWAC championship since 2017. And Grambling doesn't go too long without without a championship. So yeah.
For me, I felt like I don't know if you feel the same way. Especially on the inside, you're on the inside. I'm from the outside
Mhm.
looking in. I felt like it was a season of missed opportunities for Grambling. You guys won all the games you were supposed to. You beat
Yeah.
Southern. You beat Tennessee State. You beat
Mhm.
Alabama A&M. And the fam you lost. It's hard to win and brag. Let's just be honest. They had a
Yeah.
lot going on. That's a tough game. You lose your group of 5 games to Southern Miss. Houston was a really good team. That's a tough game on the road. But
Right.
when I'm looking at the schedule right now, the Alcorn lost 20-24. A lot of that was just a big missed opportunity for
Right.
me. And then I think you can
Mhm.
agree here that UAPB and Bethune, those back-to-back weeks there, those are 2 games you can't lose if you're Grambling.
Right. Right. And the fact that we beat Tennessee State, and then if you look at who we lost to in the SWAC, it's kind of like, what happened? It's like we lost our, momentum because I watched that game against Tennessee State. So I'm like, okay, y'all, we going to the ship. And then it's like, what happened?
I mean, because if you look at that UAPB and Bethune game, I mean, Grambling, I believe, finished third in the division last year. If they win those 2 games, you're looking at
Yeah.
about a 500 record. But in conference, you guys might be with UAPB right there with a chance to go to the
Right.
SWAC championship. So for me, QB play was an issue. I think that really hurt you guys
Oh
down the
yeah.
stretch. I mean, it's the run game was there. The defense has always been there for Grambling. I don't think you guys
Yeah.
have had a bottom 5 defense probably ever. I mean, I can't remember the last time you guys had a bad defense. So
That's
I
true.
agree. It was a solid year, but like you
And
said, it's
then
championships for Grambling.
right. And then for us to beat Tennessee State, go through a great area, then come back and beat Southern,
Yeah.
without our head coach. That was kind of like, what's going on here? Even though like we won it, with field goals, a win is a win, but still, it's like it was like you can't really pinpoint. I mean, like we never really got in our rhythm. I feel like,
Right.
or like I said, it was kind of hit and miss.
It definitely was. And then this offseason, you guys make a move. Of course, you talk about the coaching change at the end of last season. You bring in Hugh Jackson.
Right.
And outside of, head coach Deion Sanders, he comes in with as much brand and as much
Power. Hmm.
experience and power and just impact as any other head coach in the SWAC. For you, thus far, up until April 6th, what has his impact been in your mind on Grambling, the recruiting class? Like, how have you felt like he's done over these first few months?
I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding, right? If that was a historic spring game for us. It's reported that we had 5,000 people in the hole. That's never happened before. So I think that as far as how Grand Fam as a whole feels about Hugh, I think that we support him. I mean, we started off, this year kind of, rocky, different things going on, but I think that once Coach Hugh gets his footing completely, then I think that he's going to be unstoppable. The players that he's bringing in, Julian Calvez, and then he just got another QB,
Yeah.
Trillion Harris. He's 6'6". Like what I'm like, wow. So I think that they're going after top tier kids. Like I said, defense wasn't the problem. Then if you look at the O line, right? Those kids that he brought in for that, Romello Watson. Well, he's on defense, but I mean, and then of course Tyson. We can't
Yeah.
leave out. We gotta talk about Tyson Bordeaux. That's my boy. He's 6'5". So, and they got talent. It's not just height; it's talent as well. So we don't want to, and then the boy from Shreveport. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That they just brought in?
yep. Another big time playmaker. I
I'm
mean,
like, does Hugh Jackson have a height requirement? Because even Julian Calvin is 6'3". So I mean, very very impressive class. All the kids. So I'm excited.
I mean, he definitely flexed his recruiting muscle, and
Mm-hmm.
also just in
Oh
the
yeah.
state of Louisiana as well, and then also using those
Yes.
California connections because really no other.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, he's going to be electric, and
Yeah.
Maurice Washington, the transfer
Oh
from
yeah.
Nebraska. I
Oh
mean, he
yeah.
has so much potential. I mean, I think he has SWAC Player of the Year potential, really and truly for Grambling. And then Cam Jones out of SMU, some big time transfers.
Yep.
I don't think any other coach has a connection like he does to California. I mean, of course. Dion can recruit Texas, Florida, and really just nationally overall. But
Right.
that direct connection to Southern California,
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Jackson said, listen, that's my spot. We built a SWAC wall around Southern California, and there's not a lot of kids coming out of there going to other SWAC schools. But for me, like you said, the defense wasn't the problem. Is Hugh
Mm-hmm.
Jackson going to fix the offense? And I know the whole Art Briles offensive coordinator thing hit Grambling pretty hard this year, especially in the media. But overall, we knew Hugh Jackson's fingerprints were going to be all over this offense. So I want to see,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to utilize that height? How are they going to utilize all
Yep.
that speed? Because the offensive line really last year wasn't even a huge problem. The offensive line was still, I believe, top 6 in the SWAC in terms of sacks allowed last year. So it's not like they were allowing a lot of pressure. It's just the QBs couldn't convert on the opportunities they had. So I really want to see what Hugh Jackson does there. We know about his time with Carson Palmer out there at USC, and he's coached some really good quarterbacks throughout his time
Yep.
in the NFL and college. But you were right in the middle of this debate too. Everyone knows the SWAC got ripped for schedules, especially the Jackson States and the Southerns. I mean,
Not Grambling did get ripped.
yeah,
Hold up.
they did it. They did it. So
No.
I wanted to get your thoughts. Looking at this schedule, what are some of the games that worry you? How do you feel overall about the schedule going into 2022?
I'm excited to play FAMU in the hole. The Arkansas, well, I'm from Arkansas, so us playing Arkansas State, I'm excited about that. I'm gonna make my whole family go. They don't know yet. Even I think it's 2 or 3 hours away from Camden, my hometown. So I'm excited about that. Of course, the Jackson State game. We'll end up playing them twice, and that's okay. They'll be 0-2.
I love the
Yeah.
confidence. I love the confidence. And for me, I'm looking at it, and I think the first 2 games you're going to learn a lot because you
Mhm.
got to go to Arkansas State on the road. That's going to be a tough Group of 5 game.
Oh yeah.
Butch Jones is there now, formerly Tennessee's head coach just a few years back. I'm very excited to see what Grambling's offense looks like. I don't expect them to
That's
win
gonna
the
be
game, but
I
I
think
want
it'll
to
be a
see if
good
they can be
game though.
competitive. I agreed.
Correct.
I want to see it be a good game. I don't want to see 45 nothing. I want to see
Right.
them at least be in the game, or at least till halftime. And then if you want to pull out your starters and get things rolling, I understand it is what it is. But
That
that
roster is deep though, Blue. I
it
don't know.
is.
I'm not gonna never bet against the home team. I'm just saying.
I
I'm just
love.
saying. You
Okay,
said defense wasn't the problem,
that's
so
true. That is very true. But that Northwestern State game for me, that's a
yeah.
must win.
I
You
think
have
we I think we are 2-2 with them
mhm. And I
matchups. Is that
and
right?
Alcorn beat them 13-10 last year.
Mm.
They're one
Well,
of
there you go.
they're in the Southland, and we know about the out of conference thing with the SWAC. You have to win
Hmm.
that game. You cannot go, and they're
Yeah.
coming to the hole too. I believe, or
Mm-hmm.
no, it's an independent stadium. It's
Yeah,
a
it's in
neutral site in
Shreveport. Yeah.
Shreveport. Yeah.
Well, we call that
So
a home game too.
exactly. Yeah, listen, Grambling should have an 85-15 advantage in the crowd. Let's just be completely honest.
Yeah.
But it's a tough road. I mean, you mentioned the Jackson State game on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to Huntsville this year to face Alabama
Mm.
A&M and what they're going to be with either
Oh, I
Jared
really
Williams.
can't wait to see what they cooking up over there. I think that's gonna be the surprise in the East.
It's the
I'm
battle of the
being honest.
transfers. The battle of the transfers in Huntsville. Because I mean, both teams landed like 30 something transfers. Like
I
if
think
you're if
Maynard
you're
had the most.
oh yeah, he landed 17 DBs out of the transfer portal, I believe, which I've never heard of that happen. And then you get FAMU, but then you get Alcorn coming to Grambling in the hole. That's a must
Mm-hmm.
win. And then of course homecoming UAPB. You guys should win that one. And we know what it is with Southern, but looking at the schedule, is there a win total that if Hugh doesn't hit, you're going to be looking at it a little bit sideways? Is there a win total that you're like, he has to hit this, or is there a game where you're like, if he wins this game, we're good?
I'm gonna say against FAMU. If we win, if we beat FAMU, I think we good. I'm just being honest. Looking at what they've done so far and who they've recruited and what they had last year and the job that coach, I think his name is Priest, what
Hmm.
he's doing to bring even more talent. I think that, and they're still my favorite in the East. But I love what FAMU is doing. They very active on social media. They definitely are rallying the troops, and I think they're not playing with nobody. Like, but they just not my favorite as of right now.
And I think it's a given. The Bayou Classic, win
Yeah.
that game, you get a lot of credit toward the fan base. If you
Yeah,
don't beat Southern, especially with Southern, I don't know what to expect from them either. They got a lot of moving pieces as well. So
yeah, and
I
they're
think
not
that
as vocal about it, honestly. So that could
that's
go either
true.
way.
That's true. Hey, last year no one knew what to expect either. Both teams
Mhm.
had no head coach and a bunch of players hurt. It was a game of question marks last year too. But speaking of question marks, for you, what are your biggest questions for Grambling entering the season this year?
As far as what?
Just the team in general. Like this can be position battles. This can be just overall questions about the staff, anything like that.
I think that I want to see how well all of this talent meshes, right? That I think that's going to be key. We got great coaches. I mean, even without those that are not with the program anymore, Coach Simon is still a great coach on offense. So, I mean, I just want to see the I guess the I need to experience the flow of the game, right? Because it's so loaded from the coaches, from the players. So that's my biggest question: is how will the kids mesh well, and how will the game flow? Because we saw a lot of drop balls in the spring game, and
Yep.
nobody really scored how a high you know like we would have expected. But I understand that they have not been practicing that long, so I'm just
Right.
that's how I guess to answer your questions, how will all the talent mesh on the team?
I
That's
mean that
hmm
that's I think that's a fair point because I think you look at Jackson State was the transfer kings last year. The wide receivers mesh well, the D line mesh really well with Antoine and James
true.
and Coinus and Niles, but their offensive line did not gel. Their
Right.
secondary at times did not gel well.
hmm
The linebackers were kind of already. I mean, Aubrey was going to gel with whoever you put back there with him, and Keontae was in the system. It felt like for 15 years, like he could have been a coach last year. Let's just be honest. So for me, looking at everything for Grambling, I think the D line is there. They did a
Yeah.
great
Oh
job
yeah.
getting to the quarterback last year, so I'm not worried about them. But I
Yeah.
want to see can the secondary take that next step into forcing turnovers? I thought there was a lot of missed
Yeah.
opportunities where quarterbacks were putting the ball in bad positions, and outside of that Alabama A&M game, they didn't put teams in a position to pay from their mistakes. So I want to see can the whole defense, like you say, kind of come together? Can that D line match the energy of the secondary? Those linebackers are back. The defensive end spot for Grambling looks like it's going to be a strength of the defense to me. They could get after the quarterback. They look very physical. They look big. They look long. They got great technique.
hmm
I really like them. But then also the running game. I want to see if
Oh
it could be a
yeah.
more versatile attack and a more explosive attack. Last year, Grambling looked kind of more like a ground and pound. We're going to get 3 to 4 yards, and we're just going to just grind it out against
So
you because we. Yeah, go
so
ahead.
basically they gotta play. Like they gotta
Exactly.
come to play. It's the the expectation is a lot higher. We want to see a better product on the field overall from the whole team. Like I would just say every position, everybody got to do their job. It can't all be on one side or the other. I mean, when you got
Right.
Hugh Jackson as your head coach, I mean, you can't go out there playing like a third string high school team. Yeah, it
Uh,
is what it is.
Is
I ain't
is
taking sides, but it is what it is.
exactly, and then also just explosiveness from everybody.
Yeah.
That includes the passing
Yes.
game, that includes the rushing game. I believe Grambling had the least amount of 20+ yard plays last year in the SWAC.
The
Like, I
offense
mean,
was.
yeah,
I think they
like I
finished
say,
last.
yeah, I mean, it was bad. I mean, there was more interceptions than passing touchdowns last year. That's never like that's like
You're looking way too deep into our stat now. Chill
listen,
out.
I roasted everybody last year. Listen, Jackson State fans hated the sack stat. Alabama A&M fans hated some of the stats I was pulling. I know. Listen. The stats get me in trouble.
It's
That's when
good.
people get mad at me. But I
It's
just need
good.
explosiveness. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I need
Oh,
you to
it
push the
is.
ball down the field because Jackson State's going to be explosive. FAMU is going
Absolutely.
to be explosive.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama A&M is always explosive. Even Texas Southern with Andrew Body, explosive. So I need Grambling to match that if they're
And
going to
early
go
too. It
exactly.
can't be after halftime. Like that, I've seen that happen a lot from watching the games for a lot of years. It has to be early. We got to beat them down. Like we can't be trailing from behind with the level of talent that's in the SWAC right now. It's not a winning model.
I agree because I think Grambling, even though they got a bunch of wide receivers and I think an upgraded quarterback. I know Elijah Walker transferred out, I believe today, but that QB room has a lot more talent. You got to get ahead of these games. It's not going to be let me just throw the ball 400 times in a game and hopefully I can get it in there because that's going to force some turnovers. But you went to the
I
spring
agree.
game this weekend, and I heard rave reviews about the event. And so before we get into your takeaways of the game, what were your takeaways of the atmosphere, the pivot being there, and just the overall environment that was put on down there at Grambling?
I mean, what more can you ask for? Like I said, that was our way as Grand Family saying, "Hey, we're here. We're going to be visible about our support." Um, just people did what they said they were going to do. They came out. But let me say this: the Icon Collective was the first one to say we're going to make it big for the spring game, right? And so it just kind of was a snowball effect, and it just all worked together. I mean, it was a sight to see. It was a sight to see. Yeah.
And I'm interested. I don't know if they released the numbers or not with the HBCU League Pass, but I am interested to see how the game did
There's
overall. Like,
175,000
oh,
streams.
I
Yes. See,
love
I
it.
wouldn't even go
Okay.
talk about that till
That,
tomorrow.
oh no,
We in a
I
hot
needed.
seat right now.
Yeah, my bad. I needed to know because I was real interested.
175,000. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, especially for the first year of that app. And I mean, not even really the first year, the first like few months. I mean, it hasn't even been
Correct.
out for even half a year. So for me, I think that's amazing. And then your takeaways on the game. I know it was I know, like you already said, it wasn't really the offensive explosion we were all hoping for, but what really stuck out to you, and how do you feel about the team entering April now that you got to see them on the field as a unit right now?
Well, keep in mind, I was really hoping to see Maurice Washington play. So I was already kind of like, dang, but I went anyway. I went to see the other kids as well. I wish I would have seen a little bit more fire from Kajaya, Halloween from UCLA. But I think that, like I said, that's an opportunity for growth for the kids. That's how you get better. You got to go out there and try. And so for it being just basically a scrimmage, I think that, they did. I mean, they know what they got to do now. And everybody in every position know that, hey, it's going to be a dog fight. So, I mean, we just got to tighten up. I think we kind
Yeah.
of.
And,
Oh,
and I feel like with the new playbook, especially with the
yeah.
whole
And they
art
haven't even
ball,
learned it yet.
exactly with the
Let's be
whole art
honest.
yeah, with the whole Art Briles thing too, and kind of switching. I mean, it's not a complete switch of the scheme, but a little bit, and it probably threw some of the players off. And you also, with as many transfers as you brought in, with the wide receivers, the O line, the QBs, it's going to be hard,
Right.
and it's going to take time. I did not like the drop, so I agree with you on that. Those worry me because it's contagious. It really is. Where you drop it, you're in your head now. The next pass, if you drop it, you're further in your head. And it's just kind of like that weird cycle. So I would really hope
Right.
they clean that up
I
in the
agree.
season. But also, I was really impressed with the physicality of the defense. And I kind of spoke
Yep.
about
I
this
mean,
earlier.
that's
Hey, they're not, listen, I'll say
man.
this.
Listen, I'm telling you, man.
I talked to, some other people who were there. I know they're not the fastest, and I went back and watched the game because the league pass had it replay in because I was down in NOLA this weekend, so I got to go rewatch it. They're not the fastest. I don't think they're faster than Jackson State's
Aggressive.
defense. I don't think they have the top line speed of a FAMU defense, but I think they're just
Fair
as
point.
physical. When they
Yep.
get to the ball, you're going to feel them, especially those
Mm-hmm.
linebackers and those defensive linemen. So I really do like the physicality they have up front. I thought the O line did pretty well, especially
Yeah.
with some guys who were replacing some really talented guys who are now headed to the draft for Grambling. I did think the chemistry looked like it was pretty well there. They held up at times very well against the defensive line, but like we've talked about, I mean, we saw Jackson State. Everyone saw all the stars and everything, and that O line really collapsed during the season. Now I need to see that chemistry just be fortified even more for Grambling because you
Yep.
cannot let Holloway or Bowden, whoever goes back there at
Yeah.
quarterback, get
Mhm.
killed. You
Yeah.
just can't do that. And then the other thing from the spring game, we've seen, I believe, 6 transfers since the
Yep.
spring game for Grambling. What's your take on that? Is it just people trying to find their place in the new system? Is it people possibly coming in? For you as a fan and being inside the program, how do you feel about the transfers that have left the program since then?
I mean, I wish them well. I understand the the environment now with the transfer portal being, wide open, and we kind of always talk about how you have, Power Five schools that get recruits and they sit on the bench, right? Those kids want to play. Well, Grambling, kids that want to transfer, they may feel like, oh, I may not get a chance to play, so let me go somewhere where I can. So, I mean, I think they just did what was best for them. You know, it's it's. I wish them well, and I told all of them that, because they're still a part of the community. They'll always be a G man. So, it's like you never know, and you got to make sure that you're careful about how you treat people.
Oh
So,
yeah.
it's just.
A-
And they may
And
go. They may go to another SWAC school and give us hell. I mean, give us,
you never know.
trouble. So, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's not going to be exclusive to Grambling either. That's why I don't
Right.
think it's a huge
But
deal.
everything that we do
Oh,
is
I got it.
magnified times.
Oh yeah, and I mean I think when the other SWAC schools in their spring games, you're going to see transfers from Jackson State. You're going to see
Yeah.
transfers from
I'm
FAMU.
be retweeting.
That's true. Hey, I mean, listen,
I'll
I
be
think last spring, I'm an Auburn alum. We lost something like 10 or 11 players after our spring
And
game.
how many did University of Alabama lose?
Multiple.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
12, right?
Yeah. It was a lot. And
I'm
listen,
trying
but
to
wait,
figure.
it's so different there because they got 5 stars sitting behind more 5 stars with like a 5 star still committed to be behind them. It's a different world in Tuscaloosa. But you know, looking at this upcoming season, I mean, I know you're gonna be. I know the bias is gonna be there just a little bit. I'm cool with that because I mean, we had my guy Darian come on here and say Texas Southern's winning their division in the SWAC. So
Darian Gray,
yeah, he came
like on
on here.
HBCU.
Yep. He came on here to preview Texas Southern. He's picking Texas Southern to win the division in the SWAC, and he thinks that I think he said 7-4 for Texas Southern. So for you, what are your way too early expectations for Grambling in 2022?
What do you mean way too early?
So I put way too early so people don't feel like they're going to be held to anything. So if you come out here and say they're going to go
Oh,
10 and
okay.
1, but then Halloween goes down with an injury in fall camp or something like I can't, no one could hold you to it. So I just say way too early because it's April 6th. Like it's April 6th, guys. There's no way anyone could be held to any predictions for August and September and October.
I think we may lose one game.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all figure out who y'all think that is. Maybe. he said, "Who
Oh,
is that?" I'm gonna hold you.
Matt, listen,
That's
Kendrick's
all
my
I'm gonna
Jackson
say.
State guy. He's not letting any Jackson State slander slide. Kendrick is gonna call you on it.
I did not say anything. Just to say. See, y'all be reading way too deep.
Oh man,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna
so
say
one
possibly
game.
one loss.
Oh man, oh look,
I'm setting
Jeff's
the
in
bar.
here.
I'm
J-
setting
J-
the bar high. I'm setting the bar high,
I like it. Yeah, no,
and I
Kendrick
hope the
said I
boys are
ride for your
listening.
team. Yeah, Kendrick said ride for your team. Listen,
That's right.
listen. Kendrick picked Jackson State to go undefeated last year. I'm pretty sure. So he's riding for his team. For me, looking at the schedule realistically, I think if they can get through the schedule with 3, possibly 4 losses, I think it'll be a good year for Hugh in year one. Because I think the Arkansas
That's
State
fair.
game is going to be real tough. I mean, I think that to go week one and beat a group of 5 team that has the momentum that they have bringing in Butch is going to be really, really tough.
That
Two,
sounds like the one.
yeah, that sounds like the one. And then for me, looking at FAMU, Jackson State, and Alabama A&M, I think
Yeah,
best case is probably winning 2 of those, but you cannot go 0-3 in those games. You have to win. You have to win
I
one of those
agree.
3. If you go 0-3 against A&M
Yeah,
or both A&Ms and Jackson State, it's going to be a problem, and
yeah.
I'm going to be real
I
worried
think the.
about the.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Blue.
Oh, I was going to say I'm just going to be real worried for the rest of the season because if you get through that stretch, I'm worried about the all that if they lose those 3 games, Alcorn, Southern, they become must wins. And same for PV, and we know Grambling and PV is never an easy game, especially with that being
Oh
a huge
no.
rivalry game.
But they don't. I say they have a new head coach, but not a new coach. So they're having to rebuild as well. But you can't ever, count them out. PV. I
Right.
mean, honestly, I just be feeling like I ain't about to count out nobody. Like I
Oh,
know, people be like, "Well, we have a winning record against them." Da, da, da. Man, I've seen some things just like when Valley beat PV last year. So let's not pretend like you know it can't happen because it can. And just be honest, Jackson State made it to where we had to respond. The SWAC had to respond, and I think we have. I think most
mhm.
of the schools, except for a few, but I ain't gonna call nobody out because they'll never retweet their players and post their content. I think that for the most part, the SWAC has responded. So
Uh, I like it. And a lot of people saying, not don't forget Southern. It's the revenge factor. You guys kind of got them out of character last year. I mean, a lot of people were picking Southern, but you know how it is with
right,
listen.
and
It's
that proves my point. Right, we weren't supposed to beat Southern because we lost our head coach. But hey, this they got Josiah Grayhouse this year. So hey, I mean I want to see him play, even though he played for Southern. I still want to. I mean that's gonna be. I know the Jackson State game is gonna be highly anticipated, but let's not sleep on it. Even though it's a rival with us, I think that the stakes are even a little higher with the
yeah,
talent that Southern has coming in, and
that's got to
everybody
be a
want to see him.
that's got to be a sellout, right? Jackson State, Grambling, and the whole. That's got to be like they got to put
No,
extra
we
bleachers
we
for
got
that
to come to
game.
Jackson.
Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely a sellout still. Y'all got to at least bring like I
Mm-hmm.
need Grambling to at least pack out that one little side over there that they give the opposing fans. Because listen, like that
And
one
we gonna
side and
sit
like the
together.
bowl, it's all Jackson State fans. Like I've watched it. I've watched the clips. Like it seems like they don't even allow people from the other team to sit over
That's
there. I don't
exactly
know.
where I'm gonna sit at. Then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna walk in with a blue hoodie and take it off when I sit down.
Gonna sit right next to the boom. Gonna sit right next. To
Because I already
Oh,
know that's where my Facebook friends gonna be sitting at.
oh, I love it. I love it. That's amazing. Listen, you can catch my girl LaShonda right next to the boom doing her own Grambling thing over there. I love it. You need a black and gold shaker too, just to
You
rival
right.
their shakers.
You right.
Um, but I know some people just got in and they wanted you to talk a little bit about the collective and what you guys are doing and the mission of it. So if you want to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, what you guys got in the works, this is all your time to talk about that.
Okay. I don't want to take up space in the room, but basically what we're doing is we're bridging the business community with the education community through name, image, and likeness deals. There's so much misinformation out there. It's unreal. People have certain ideas of what the school can do and say, why don't the school just do X, Y, Z? And they haven't looked at the laws and stuff. So what I said, maybe I need to do a better job myself in putting the information out there as well, just like I, support the what's going on online with the teams and stuff, with the athletes at Grambling. So I'm gonna pivot a little bit to that in the coming days and stuff. But basically, what did NIL do, to put it simply, is you can use a student athlete to market your business. You can use a student athlete, like example, like you may have a small mom and pop restaurant, and you can use them, pay them as an influencer, have them come sit down in a diner, eat. They do a little TikTok, and they say, "Hey, go eat at Joe Schmo's Rib Shack." Right? It's very simple, and I think people have kind of made it hard or made it more complicated than it is. So the kids get paid, everybody's happy, and what actually, if we do it right, y'all, it's going to help support the athletic department as a whole, because now resources that they were going to spend for certain things, now they don't have to, right? So that's my goal, is just to let everybody know that we're here to support, right? That's the
Right.
main thing. So we trying to bring money and resources into the school through name, image, and likeness.
And like, I think you even had a tweet about it today. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
misinformation
Oh
out
my
there
God.
about NIL, and I think it one stems from a bunch of one is the NCAA's fault because they offer no guidance and they just kind of
Yeah.
said, "Oh wait, let's just open the floodgates and allow NIL to flow in," and we
Mm-hmm.
put no guardrails up. We had no levies. We just said, let's let it ride. And then you see guys signing with professional teams. The quarterback from Miami last year signed an NIL deal with the Florida Panthers and
Oh,
NHL team.
cool.
And then you saw schools like Grambling and Miami and other schools try to do like group NIL things and
Yeah.
and different things like that. And what I think happens is a lot of people try to compare their school and their resources to schools like Texas A&M, where it's like, well, why isn't my quarterback getting a 400K NIL deal to sign here? And it's like, are you putting up the 400K?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. We
Yeah,
gotta
it's
support, like, we can be a lot more competitive through this NIL stuff,
hmm
right? But it's gonna take money, and I know sometimes with us, when you put that M word out there, and you start asking for monetary support, then everybody clutches their pearls. But y'all, it's a new ball game, and NILs aren't going anywhere. So honestly, either we can step up and get the job done, or because I don't really blame the kids for saying, "Hey, where my NIL at?"
right.
Because that's the game now. They're looking around and seeing, who getting what and who ain't. And they're asking questions. So we got to step up, you know, and provide them at least an opportunity to have access to it. Now, the way I structure my company is I'm partnering with businesses, right? That can come in and work with whichever student they would like. I'm not telling the business who to work with. And
Right.
that's why I made that post the other day. Like, I'm not picking and choosing. Now, you will have situations where a certain sponsor may say, okay, well, I want to work with Kajaya or whatever, just for example. I can't be like, no, you got to do it for everybody, blah, blah, blah. No. If they want to work with that certain student, we're going to make the deal and make it happen. But my primary focus is to get resources for all the kids to be able to get access to, not just, a few.
And another thing too is if even like, let's say a company comes in and wants to do a deal with Noah Bowden or Holloway, doing that one deal with that player might open up another player getting in with that same company. Once they get in their foot in the door, the it's kind of unlimited on how far that can go. So I love the work you guys are doing. And I agree with this comment. Listen, JSU's doing a great job with NIL. Grambling is doing a great job with NIL. Alabama A&M on the low. I've
Yeah,
talked
I
to a
agree,
few players.
Mr. Phillips. I agree with that.
Yeah, and A&M has doing a horrible job announcing it, but there are a lot of players that have small NIL deals on that
Yeah.
team that for some reason is not being publicized as much. Like last year, Keel Glass had multiple NIL deals, and just it really wasn't talked about the same way that some of these other NIL deals are now. And that
And
could have
see,
just
I
been
didn't
that.
even know that.
Yeah, and there was a few players that had a contract for Alabama A&M with Boost Mobile. that
Awesome.
no one talked about. And it was just the player announced it. I didn't feel like the university did a great job of letting people know that it was there, and it was new. And so I'll give people a pass because it was very, very new at that
Well,
time.
Blue, the university can't really like be like this player got an NIL deal.
Yeah,
They have to be hands off, but that's not stopping the fans and
exactly.
the supporters from going. The main thing the alumni need to be doing in regards to these NILs is social media engagement. That's what's going to drive people to come and say, I want to spend marketing dollars with your student athletes. It don't matter if they're the top player or third string, right? So
Right.
it's all about, is the student marketable? Because you might have a quarterback that is top tier, but he don't have no camera presence, right? He's not
Right.
really, he may be really shy. His personality doesn't really transfer well on camera or whatever. So you're gonna have, and let me tell you this, you're gonna have top players to get top deals. That's
Yep.
that's gonna happen. But there's also some room for some of those other players that may have, like I said, a high social media engagement to get $100 to do this, $100 to do that, 100, and that adds up. Next thing you know, you're making $1,500 a month just
Right.
tweeting or just going and eating somewhere for free or visiting, somebody's store, wearing somebody's apparel. Right? It's a really simple formula to get this done. So
Yeah.
I just want to
And
say that.
and as much as on the field performance, like you said, plays a big role, also I don't know how many people know how much like your following on social media matters too. Like, I mean, some of these
Yes.
Power Five
Goodness.
transfers that are coming in, it's a bag to get them to do an NIL deal because when you commit to Tennessee, like a Malachi Wideman, when
I
you
agree.
commit to an Auburn like a Coinus Miller, etc., man, when you got 15, 20,000 followers, if someone wants you,
Yes.
one post is
Right.
ridiculously expensive for a company. And I
But
forgot
it's
the
a good return
website.
on investment though. You might make
Oh yeah.
15,000, you invest 1,000, you may make 15,000 because they got, they're so vocal on social media.
Right, and a little, I guess, a detour here. Kedrick has been passed. I've seen him post this question like 3 times, so we'll get to it, my guy. Who is your favorite recruit from this year's Gramblings class?
Which I mean, if you just go to my page, it's very obvious.
That's why I was like, we'll hit this real quick because I know
It's
exactly who
very
she's gonna
obvious.
say.
That's all I'm gonna say. Because I love them all. But it's, some lights shine brighter than others. So
So yeah, Kedrick, just go check out her page. It's very, very clear who she's rocking with. I'll say that. But yeah, no, he says sorry, didn't want y'all all to forget. But
it's all
yeah, I
good.
mean, because and also while they're in college, they ball NIL deals, and like you said, it's also personality because not everyone
Yeah.
can be as amazing on camera as Shador is. Not
And then,
no,
to be honest, some kids are not motivated by money. Some kids don't want
yep,
to be bothered. And it could be a top kid that don't want to be bothered.
it,
You would think that they'd be like, okay, I'm finna get this money, but it's a lot other stuff that may be factors too. But go ahead, what you were saying, Blue.
oh no, and I was gonna back you up because I'm not gonna name because I might give it away if I name the team. I talked to a parent of a player on a SWAC team
Okay.
that really does not want NIL deals. He's like, listen, I'm making the NFL. I don't need all the distractions. I don't need the cameras. I don't need the deals. I don't need social media. He said, let me just work. He said, I watch all the shows, everything. I can tell what I need to improve on. I'm not about it. He goes, I don't want to be
Great.
in the spotlight. And the parent was talking to me about this, and he's like, he's all about the business. He just wants
Yep.
to go out there and play ball. And I'm like, there's a spot for that. And I respect that more than anything. But there's also kids out there, like you said, like the Florida State kid who said, I'm not even coming to spring practice until y'all give me an NIL deal. Until y'all set that up, which I
What?
think is a little extreme, but it's two ends to the spectrum there. And like you said, there's a lot of guys who want an NIL deal and some who don't. But I do think there are a lot of kids out there who, like you said, might not be ready for the spotlight because once you sign a deal, it's a whole different world out there. And that social media
Mm-hmm.
branding, and also clean up your social medias, please.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for high school athletes, everything. When a coach goes to your page to recruit you, I have heard multiple times from recruiters and everything. I took a recruiting class with the Scouting Academy. Is going to be a problem if they see a bunch of just horrible stuff on there, a bunch of cussing and all kind of stuff. Clean up your social media.
Yep.
And if you look at Shador's, it was pretty clean. and then you got the Gatorade beats everything, and he still could be himself. So I think that's another big
I
thing too,
agree.
is the players got to do their social media. What was the win loss record? SWAC West versus SWAC East for 2021. Is the East stronger? I do believe the East had the advantage last year. I don't know if they'll be that way this year, but with FAMU and Jackson State pretty much running through everybody, it really gave them the advantage. And then also you had PV lose to Juan Pass at the end of the year. You had Grambling and Southern lose games that you shouldn't have lost.
That's
And
true.
there was a lot of questions, but yeah, I believe the East won the battle last year. But final question, and I know I know this wasn't going to be a topic, but I know you have big strong opinions about it because I hear it on social media. What does the SWAC need to do better with social media branding on Twitter, on Instagram, on even TikTok? Because I see a lot of tweets, and I want you to have this platform to speak on it, because you a lot of your tweets, I'm like, that needs to be posted in like the office of the SWAC of like the SWAC. So what for you are you seeing on social media for these SWAC teams that they have to improve on moving forward to jump on this momentum that the SWAC has?
Okay, well, I made the comment last week that a lot of them hadn't posted anything since signing day. That's unacceptable, right? That's just you can't like how are companies gonna find you or be able to assess your market value if you're not even promoting your own school or your own um, student athletes? And also, to be honest, video content works better because you're able to because people will like something but not like it, right? They'll look
Right.
at it, but you can't measure that, right? So video content gives you a greater opportunity to say, okay, when I posted this at this particular time about this particular subject, I got 5,000 views, right? So we have to use the data that's available to be able to get our programs to the next level. We got to have a product, right, that is sellable that we can market. So it's we got to step it up. If you got the education side going good, get your student athletes going good too. I promise you, those kids appreciate it. Like just and don't forget about how we leave the bands out. We need that's a whole nother show. I don't even think you cover topics with the band. But
No,
we
I'm a
had a
football
school.
guy.
Let me say this. We had a school do something very historic, and it was a blip on the radar for the school. Like, how does we had to talk about it? That's crazy. So just get that video content out there. And I've been reaching out to whoever I can, to say, hey, I see you cover your school a lot. Why don't you maybe they don't know how to do it. So why don't you give them some of your content and let them post it for the school? It just and it's an easier sell than saying, I need y'all to do something. I need y'all to do this. I need y'all to do that. Hey, you can just say and give them extra steps. You can have it already packaged for them. So
Right.
that was my
I,
suggestion. If you follow your program very closely, you post video content, you got access to practices, you on the sidelines at the games and stuff like that. You need to be posting. You need to be helping support the school getting their video content out there.
and
I know.
and on top of that,
Ooh, did
I
you see what he just said?
oh yeah,
We got go back. Yes, that is exactly right. And that's crazy. And that's why I said today, no, they're not really doing. They're doing the opposite, which makes no sense. I wouldn't care.
just
If
get
it works, it
content.
works.
Just get content. I mean, that's all it is. And yet, and I think, even with like the YouTubers and things like that, I mean, man, why like comparing views, like why does it matter? Like, and I think schools are doing that too much. Like yes, Dion's gonna post a video and he could talk about anything. Today he was talking about, what do you call it, booty paper, and it got like 16 million views, like probably. I get it. And you can't do that. I understand. But I would love to see clips of Andrew Body. I would love to see clips of the Grambling quarterbacks throwing around in practice. I would love to see like, I don't even know
Them
if the
all
fool's
them
practicing.
transfers A&M just got.
Exactly.
What is Bethune Cook, man? I finally saw
I
they had some kids that they got scholarship offers today, so that's good.
yeah.
Um,
I
but I
and
haven't seen anything from and people be saying we're moving in silence. No, you're moving in $0. That's what you're moving.
Yep, exactly, and you're getting no and, I get it, social media engagement is different than, like, a social media view, but, like, engagement's hard to build, but until you have the views and the interaction, you can't build, like, the engagement aspect of your social media, but it doesn't and I agree with this comment here. Maynard could be one of the biggest personalities in the swag. I mean, listen, all the clips we see of
Yes.
Dion being funny at practice, talking to his players, I guarantee Kyle Maynard could be just as funny and just
Yes.
as engaging. And I think that goes and Willie Simmons is a great dude too. Like I think
Yeah. He
hearing him
posted
talk would
today.
be great. Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, FAMU, Jackson State, Grambling doing their thing. Those three are probably the top three going on right now. But I need to see more. Like I don't know anything. I really don't know if Bethune's even hit the field yet. I don't know if they suited up for practice. I don't know if they got a team. I haven't seen nothing. I
I
haven't
ain't
seen
that
nothing
blue.
from. I haven't seen nothing from UAPB, PV.
I follow
None
all
of
them
these schools,
pages.
and they don't do anything, and it just aggravates me. And I agree with this. Content creators have a bigger brand than some
Oh,
of the
come on,
schools.
coach.
I mean, look, and no disrespect, CFL, Scotty, and Cut Day. We'll just take those top three because they're probably the top three content creators right now on YouTube. They dominate like I would say all but like three schools
Hmm.
in terms of the type of engagement that they're creating. And it doesn't make sense on why it doesn't make sense why Swack and a Fool, myself, Coach Simmons, Scotty, CFL,
Mhm.
Swag Buzz, DJs, and the list goes on and on. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody. There's a lot of people out there now.
Yeah,
But
you've got a few, but it's
yeah,
okay. You
but
got a few of my
how
guys.
and all of us also like none of us are doing it full time. Like all this is on the
Right.
side for most of us. How are we producing content daily and you can't post a practice clip? You can't post a quote. You can't post pictures. Like you can't post a tweet during the day. I'm sorry, there's no excuse in my opinion.
Mm-mm. Not when we got money on the line. Oh, that come on, swacking the food. Not when you got a company like Urban Edge Network saying, "Hey," and let me put it, they're not just trying to work with Grambling, right? And because a lot of people
Yep.
have that misconception, they've already signed a deal with Stillman College. I'm like, whoa, where did Stillman come from? That's not even a top tier HBCU. You don't even have a football team, so they are trying to work with every HBCU that will do business with them. So we got to give them a product again to sell. It's just that simple. This is our money, y'all. All right, we
Yeah.
ain't got to be sitting up here going and begging for funding from the state, and you know we can get stuff quicker done with through the business community than you could ever get from the state. So we got to work smarter and not harder, and it can easily be done. We got all these different SWAC and I ain't gonna say SWAC, HBCU alumni chapters. How hard is it to create a group me and say, hey, this is three. These are we're gonna post at least we're gonna repost, share, or like at least three things a day. You can pick academics, you can pick band, and you can pick something from athletics that is about your school, and everybody's on code. It's that simple, and it's free. So I don't want to hear no excuses, Blue.
Listen, you're not going to get any from me because I've been on it with you. Like it doesn't make any sense. I mean, and I get it. And I saw a comment here. I understand the pay grade for probably HBC media relations is not where it should be, and I
No,
understand that.
that
But
ain't what we talking
I
about. I don't want
I,
to hear no.
it,
That
I
ain't
know,
what we
but
talking about.
I was about to counter. Listen, I do this show with a computer, a mic that I bought myself, and when I went into the Legacy Bowl, I got a GoPro, and all my content you saw was from that, and I bought it like myself. I don't make like any money off of this, and I promise you, they're getting paid more than I am. I
Okay,
guarantee it.
okay. So media relations in athletics has media relations said, hey, you guys, we need X, Y, and Z. We need this super duper camera or whatever, so we can have good footage to show and create content. No, so there it's not about their pay grade. If they're not even posting content, what are we paying them for?
It makes like my phone right here. Like it's an iPhone. I could take 4K pictures on this, like on my
Thank
phone.
you.
Like it makes
We
no
no
sense. Like
excuses.
that, like I can't do it. I mean, and for
And people
me,
may agree with me, but this is listen. I'm not bashing those schools. I'm not here to you know act like I'm better than anybody. This is not what this is about. This is about us as a SWAT community, MEAC as well, just say HBCU. Us doing the things that we can do for to help ourselves. That's
And,
all.
and this is a
Oh
fact.
wow.
This is a fact. Listen, I was there with Cut Day. His camera broke. First practice. The coach gave their practice on Tuesday. It broke. He went to go get it fixed. He couldn't get it fixed. He came back with a like a selfie stick and his iPhone on it.
I mean, I
So
don't know.
everything you saw from Cut Day from that week was from his iPhone.
What? See what I'm saying? And most of us got, you know, we got, it up to date or phones that what I would say that could at least get the job done. Like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
with a selfie stick. So I'm not trying to hear nothing about, because these things are free that we can do. You free access to Twitter, TikTok, and then let me give you one better. After you get so many views, like comments and stuff, you monetize your platform.
Yep.
So that means you're making money over money, and all just from, like I said, views, likes, subscribers, and whatever. So that's a whole different level that the other schools are already doing. They getting
Yep.
paid for that. They not just, you know what I'm saying? You got 10 million views, you got to cut me a check.
Exactly.
Them blue
And
checks mean something on them accounts. Stop playing.
absolutely, absolutely. And on YouTube, I believe if it might have changed since I hit 1,000 subscribers, but to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in one calendar year. You should be getting 4,000 watch hours in the season. No excuse not to hit that. And you're telling me there's not 1,000 people subscribed to every YouTube account for every SWAC team?
I seen 1,000 people complaining all week, so I know Grandma should get a lot of followers this week. I wish I had that little button Scott to be pushing.
Right? Yeah,
Whatever.
like the horde or whatever, like the little fire, the
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
every page ought to have at least hundreds and hundreds of followers. GSU underscore Tigers, that's the main one. Then you got GSU football 01. So I can't think of the other Grambling V ball, that's volleyball, because I know that's the one y'all
Yeah.
want to know about.
Oh yeah.
But
I,
if you go to
I,
GSU underscore Tigers, you'll see all of our social media pages. And shout out to the athletic department, because they got a page for every sport, and they post every time there's a game, win, lose, or draw. They post content about it. So shout out to them.
and I'll vouch for you because I know you were talking about Texas Southern's band playing at WrestleMania was
How do
what
you
you were addressing.
say
No. I'm about to go one better. You know where I was Monday night. I was at the national championship. You know who played at
that?
halftime?
Southern?
The Human Jukebox.
Yeah.
I didn't see nothing. I didn't even get an announcement. I was sitting in my seat and they said, "Here comes the Human Jukebox," and I was like, "Wait, what? Like from Southern?"
They, I, they did. They were. I don't know if the school posted it, but I did see the fans talking about it, because they was
Yeah.
all on my posts,
You,
fooling
but
around.
there's no reason for as big as the Human Jukebox is that Southern social media shouldn't have been tweeting that.
I agree.
And right here he said Facebook only. Facebook
I
is the
know,
only
because
place.
they like to get in the groups and argue with each other instead of taking their energy and putting it into their own schools. They want to talk
Oh,
about stuff that happened 30 years ago, and when they school, was on top of whatever. But you can do that. That's cool.
mhm.
But at some point, we gotta elevate just a little bit. That's not making us no money.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like I was in New Orleans all week. I was at the Final Four. I was at the Natty. They never even mentioned who was playing at halftime. Like once. Like and so that's on the Human Jukebox for not even like pushing the NCAA to promote that they were going. I mean, they just showed up at halftime and everyone was like, "Oh yay, like it's the Human Jukebox." And they did their thing. It was sounded really good and
Right,
as good
right.
as it can
I
in
think I
with
retweeted it.
basketball. Yeah, and so I understand that, but you know, I don't understand it. But yeah, he's Sonic Boom here has been on it too. Fans got to be promoting things like that. And I mean, it's the fact that no one self promotes is a problem. But I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come on the show, giving me an hour of your time. So, for the people who weren't here earlier, plug all your social media, let them know where they can find you, and anything you want to say. This is your time, Miss Love.
Okay, so you can find my NIL collective at Icon 1901. Shout out to my board. They're working really hard. And my own personal social media is Yard Talk HDX. And what I want to say is, y'all, it's time to step it up. I don't want to hear nothing about no budget deficiencies or none of that. It's go time. This is what we asked for. This is what we have said we needed for years. So let's get it done. That's it.
Uh, I 100% agree. Everyone said they need you back on during the season, so we'll definitely have some more Grambling content coming, guys. I promise. Everyone y'all see on these spring previews, I really wanted to use them to get different people on the platform. And listen, Miss Love here has been on a few podcasts now. She's kind of getting those camera skills going. So you'll definitely see her on very, very soon, guys. So make sure to go follow her on all social media. Make sure to subscribe here, like the video, of course, and share it. That way everyone can hear the amazing stuff Miss Love dropped on us tonight. But guys, for Miss Love, myself, and the Blue Bloods, we are out for right now.